apmnation.com.
Previously on Angry Drunk Tales.
Do you often lurk in doorways listening to conversations?
How else would I know what's going on around here? Well, I hope you don't mind if I take a taxi. I'd like to stay away from all three of you for a while.
Be angry.
I don't see how you can live with yourself. Once you give up integrity, the rest is a piece of cake.
Say, weren't you here a couple of months ago? You're not going to make a habit out of this, are you?
Me write angry emails.
I don't know how he manages to feed himself.
It was bad enough when yapping at me all the time like a mouse attacking a lion.
Episode 20. I prefer black people.
Me still angry. Me continue to write long, rambling, drunken emails. Me continue to be angry over incident several weeks ago. Me have emotional intelligence of 5-year-old child. Me bitter and frustrated with myself over being drunken 300-pound tub of shit. Me undiagnosed paranoid schizophrenic. Me
Short dick man.
Me write angry emails. Me hate everyone.
Welcome to episode 20 of Angry Drunk Tales. I'm Matt Connerton.
And I am Jen Coffey.
And we are the former roommates of
Short dick man.
Eduardo.
And we got. We'll finish up with July 12th on this episode, as of course we continue chronologically. And I know at one point I had said, by the way, that this series would probably be 100 episodes, but I don't think we're going to make it to 100. We're only at episode 20, and I mean we still have a lot of material, but I don't think we have another 80 episodes worth unless
Short dick man.
stop slacking and start sending us some more angry emails.
Well, if he doesn't, we do always have his book.
Yeah.
We could toy around with that a little bit. I haven't read any of it yet, so I don't know if it's good for radio yet. So, I'd have to look at it.
Well, what's funny about his book is, I'll tell you this. So he had it like multiple editors,
there
college
was
professors and
college
whatnot.
professors, yes.
And there's even one or two of them credited in the front of the book. And they did if they're like legitimate editors, they did a pretty shitty job. Because I'll tell you what, there's some bad grammar and words used incorrectly, like, their, THERE, used when it should be their, THEIR. It's like, really? A college professor edited this dude? Because, if you haven't listened to all the episodes.
From what college?
Yeah, there was an episode where we talked about that, and, we do have a copy of
Short dick man.
his book. His answer to Ayn Rand, apparently. But,
well, at least Ayn Rand is a real writer.
yeah.
I'm sure that whatever he's got is either hysterical or the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life. It's probably going to fall into one of those categories. I'm not hopeful. I'd like to think that it might make good radio, but I'm not hopeful that it's going to make good radio because
I already know the answer to that, but
his philosophies on things are just so ridiculous, and collectivism is a central trademark of his being. That and blaming everybody else for everything that's ever gone wrong in his life, and apparently nothing has ever gone right in his life.
I'll go ahead and say it. We're not going to be able to read his book on the air because I did read some of it and it's boring. It's just boring. I was hoping it would be so bad that it would be entertaining. like, you know, like these
Like the emails?
like these emails. But it's not. It seems maybe he did have someone edit out all the and such and at the end of the day and all that, but
Call me an asshole.
it's just boring. So yeah.
Yeah.
But let's get to this tonight's dramatic reading. We have a long email from
Short dick man.
Great way to end a Friday evening.
yes.
Settle in and get ready to laugh.
This is from July 12th. I have an ex-employee of mine who manages Bernie and Phil's in Nashua, and she's a good friend. I know I could get some nice furniture on financing if I wanted. So if all of Jen's stuff is going, then fine. I can make plans to get my own furniture. Since if I win this contest I'm in, then I might not need any roommates for the next 5 years. I could just turn this place into an office with contract employees. Even without winning the contest, I could end up having a money partner shortly. 2 are VC people who are interested already in funding this POS stuff for us. So at the end of the day, if you think you are going to screw me somehow, guess what? Won't happen. I could do what I did for the last year for my taxes and write off the entire cost of my rent. I didn't pay taxes last year because I itemized them. My rent as a business and also for personal expense exceeded my income as far as the IRS knew. At the end of the day, they owed me money. So trust me, if you think you are going to fuck me, it's not a possible thing. I cover my own ass way too well. I already called my student loan payment people and said I might need to skip a couple of months. I paid the electric ahead last month. As far as cable goes, maybe I pay it, maybe I don't. Would suck for you more than for me now, wouldn't it? Can do my job from anywhere, but you run a radio show? Me turning off the internet would become inconvenient for you, could it not? Your rent payments guarantee your internet. If they are late or non-existent, then your internet can go away, and most likely will. This is intended as a warning. If you think you can withhold rent and live here for free, there will be repercussions for such behavior. As Jen told me the day, she basically told me what an asshole I am, that she intended to fight any eviction procedures and such. I am just telling you right now, failure to pay rent and forcing me to go through the route of forcing eviction will mean that you will have no internet. That's a warning, and meant only because of what Jen said to me about having to force eviction, a thing I never wanted to do. But if rent is not received, then that's where I will be forced to go with it. This is a warning, take it as such. But I feel it is a warning I need to make because I am unsure of your intentions. So far, all I know is Jen has told me that she intends to squat as long as she sees fit. I already know the laws where this is concerned, and right now, you have far less rights than you think you do. As a roommate, I can give you 30 days written notice and then call the police. Where Alex was wrong was calling it a sublet. As roommates, you are all guests. After a 30-day notice, I can simply call the police if I wish to push you out. Trust me, you cannot fuck me over. If you think you will get free rent and such, the obligations for roommates are much lower than for landlords. Take this how it's meant. If you think, as Jen stated to me last week, that you have a way of fucking me over, trust me, you do not. I was very careful in the original contract I described to every one of you. None of you are entitled to anything. None of your names appear anywhere on a lease. All of you live here at my discretion. I was very careful about that. So laws of eviction in this scenario are this in New Hampshire. I give you 30 days notice if rent is unpaid. And then, since you are all guests, I can call the police and report you as trespassers. That's a warning based off of a threat Jen gave me. Basically, try to get me out. If this is what you are expecting to do, warning, the law in this case is on my side. I don't want to be an asshole, but I feel But I feel a warning is necessary here for what will happen if either of you think if either you or Jen think you can simply squat here. And the same goes with Angela, the only person I really want to move, by the way. If this sounds harsh, then fine. But from what I am seeing, I am thinking that I already should have begun a 30-day notice. Because what I know from you and her is that you are both kind of sketchy anyways. Neither of you have a real job and will take whatever you can, wherever you can, from whoever you can. All while complaining that too many people take. That's what I know of both of you. And it's liberals who want freebies? Sorry, at the end of the day, you both started calling me names. But people in glass houses? Well, you can always call me an asshole all day long to all of your Free State friends. I'm sure they will listen, but I won't care, LOL. I don't have to depend upon Free Staters to take care of me because I have actual friends and such. People who owe me favors and such. So if you feel that I'm being an asshole because I simply want to know what to expect, then fine, get used to this. I can borrow, beg, and steal for months to come. And in the end, if I choose that you two need to leave, guess what? You will have to leave. If next month's rent is not paid and you still live here, then expect to do your show from Barnes and Nobles. I know very well what the laws are here, as I used to manage apartment buildings. I will not play games with anyone. My patience has expired for passive-aggressive behavior that I had nearly nothing to do with. Except to say that I felt disrespected and insulted by a guest of yours who was not paying a damn thing in this house. Not just once, either. That night was the night I had gotten sick of him looking at me with disdain and saying disrespectful shit to me. At the end of the day, he was not my kid. I don't have to put up with it when he treats me like I am less than him, like he did several times in the past. And I was the guy who offered him a job, and yet I'm the asshole? So at the end of the day, I don't care. Call me what you want and such. But yes, Jesse more often than not said things to me that were very, very photon? That made me feel disrespected. Even the very first day he moved in, when he made a number of comments about me saying we need to make a plan about where things will go, and later when we were moving a couch and I asked for a minute to snap my back into place and he called me old and lazy. So at the end of the day, you want sympathy for Jesse? Guess what? Too many comments, too many hateful looks. What I feel is, fuck Jesse. Sorry, he was a guest in my house and regularly disrespected me. And it doesn't matter if you saw it or not, because I did. I'm not the daddy. I don't owe him shit in life. And I don't owe you or Jen either. You can call me an asshole for that, fine. I've been called an asshole over and over again in my life. That doesn't make you right or me wrong either. You have friends, Free Stater friends, and I know you are all proud of that. But see, I have friends that are millionaires, and some of them owe me favors. And I can just say I need $900 this week, and trust me, I will get $1,200 worth of work that week. So if you think you are going to fuck me, then think again. I also have business partners in about 6 ventures who want to ensure that my life does not experience interruptions in the projects that we are working on together and such as well. So if the idea is rattling around in your head that you will somehow fuck me over, guess again. If you think you might get a few months rent-free with no repercussions, then guess what? Won't happen either. When I signed that lease, I was very careful not to add any other names to it. That makes you guests, which means I can give you a 30-day notice whenever I choose, and then you become trespassers after that. Your options are not the same as they were when
Napoleon Bonaparte
had the lease, as I was very careful when I signed the lease to keep all other names off of it. So take it as it's intended, as a warning. You will not live here for free as long as you wish, as Jen told me she would the day she opened my door. I am not a pushover. I know what the limits are here. And by the way, if you ever get pissed off enough that either of you decide to hit me, then guess what? You're both gone immediately. This is why my door is closed and locked. I will not allow any of you to drag me into anything that will undermine me as the leaseholder. At the end of the day, I've reached the limit on my patience with this passive-aggressive behavior and would simply at this point prefer that all of you move out. Sorry, but that's how it is now. You had opportunities to talk to me and didn't. Now you are moving stuff out, and I have to assume you intend to move out, which means to me I should look for one new roommate. Not 2 or 3, just 1. To me, 1 is preferable to 3. Sorry, but that's the truth of the matter. You can call me an asshole for saying that, but that's the truth of the matter. And if Posy Smart gets funded for the next few months, I don't even need one new roommate. You can call me an asshole all you want, but at the end of the day, I know how to top cut and run from people. Grew up learning how and such. So your opinion of me, at the end of the day, doesn't even mean shit to me. Oh, that one was exhausting.
Let's see. So we've admitted to tax evasion. What happened to? I thought liberals believed in paying their fair share. I thought that was a really big deal for liberals.
I don't know if he admitted to tax evasion. I don't.
He specifically said, from what the IRS knew of what I made.
Yeah.
And no, you can't write off your fucking bedroom. That's illegal.
Well, you can take the home office deduction.
You can take a home office deduction if you have a dedicated office that is only used for that business.
Right.
You can't do a duality of a bedroom.
That's
a violation of law.
You know what I've been told, by the way, that is the number one trigger of audits. Is people taking the home office deduction.
Yep.
That's why I've never taken it.
No.
Nothing triggers an audit easier than that. That's what I've been told.
I did years ago.
Yeah.
But I had, I had an LLC. I did everything by the book. I had my tax number. I had a bookkeeper and accountant. And I had an office that was dedicated to just that. Mm-hmm. Just the business. But I digress. Oh, and incidentally, if you happen to be listening and you're in the state of New Hampshire, there's one little thing about the laws he didn't tell you. When you get mail at a residence, it changes everything. You're not a guest anymore.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. And nowhere and at any time did I ever make any kind of a comment saying that I wouldn't pay my rent.
Right. He's talking about... He's referring to, this is another example of him just imagining shit.
This is him referring to that conversation I had with him. Well, not really a conversation. It was more like just basically why.
When you went to his door and he opened the door, he says in the email that you opened his door.
He said, yeah. I said, it's Jen. He said, okay. And that was the cue to open the door because he's too lazy to get out of the bed or his chair to actually physically open the door.
Right. He's trying to make it sound like you barged in. And then he's talking about...
Yeah, remember we had if you remember from previous episodes, you remember you talking about how I was knocking and you could hear me from the bathroom.
And then he's making up all this stuff that you allegedly said about squatting there and this and that, all stuff that you never said.
But incidentally and uniquely, also things that
Napoleon Bonaparte
said.
Napoleon Bonaparte
Was making accusations that
Short dick man.
And you and I were going to become squatters.
This guy would be a psychiatrist's dream. The way he takes stuff. Yeah, he keeps replicating the kind of things that
Napoleon Bonaparte
would say.
But yeah,
there's so much of that.
Did he run out of his own material, maybe?
I don't know.
Or maybe he was
so
channeling
strange
him because I know he believes in all of that crap. Or
he really is insane. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, so he's talking about all this stuff that you clearly never said, and I know you didn't because I was sitting in the bathroom listening to that conversation.
And all the nasty commentaries about Jesse.
Yep.
And after
then,
his gushing, he's such a great kid.
Oh, yeah.
Yada, yada, and all this other crap.
And then out of nowhere, I think for the first time, he introduces the idea of violence.
Yes.
If any of you ever try to hit me, you'll be out immediately. Like we would do that.
Yeah, like, I'm going to try and go after a 300-pound guy. Really?
Because it comes
With
up
my
again.
hands?
It comes up again in later
Really?
emails. Like, if any of you ever like come running into my room and try
It
to
was
beat
like
me
he
up,
was hoping for that.
yeah,
Maybe, I mean, he's managed, maybe, I mean, he has mentioned numerous times numerous beatings. So
Yeah.
apparently he's successfully goaded other people into actually striking him.
Yeah.
He's probably never dealt with people that practice NAP, the non-aggression principle, as strictly as we do.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we don't believe in defending ourselves. Let's not confuse the two.
Of course.
But obviously he really, there again, doesn't pay any attention to anyone but himself, so he truly didn't ever really know us.
You know what occurred to me recently? I wonder if, because these emails were only going to me at this point, you weren't getting them. I mean, at least he was abiding by that, sending them only to me.
For a short time he did, yeah.
Is it? I wonder if he thought if the like him saying that you were talking about squatting there and stuff. I wonder if maybe that wasn't so much him imagining that stuff as him intentionally. Like, he probably didn't know I was in the bathroom listening. I wonder if he thought that because he was sending these only to me, that he could generate some sort of a rift between you and I by him claiming that you had said these things, and then I would confront you about them, and then you would deny that you had said them, and that would create like, I wonder if he was trying to create trouble between us, not realizing that I was in the bathroom and heard the entire conversation and knew that you didn't say those things he's accusing you of saying.
Not only that, he obviously doesn't know us and how our relationship works, and it just doesn't work that way. That's an interesting point. Maybe he was trying to create a problem between you and I.
Now it's a theory. Now, I don't think, if I were a betting man, I would say no, it's just him imagining things, because there is a very clear pattern of him imagining things.
Absolutely, and it only becomes progressively more.
Right. So most likely he just imagined all of that, all those things you said that I know you didn't say.
I wonder if he ever figured out you were in the bathroom.
No, I don't think he knows, and I never told him. I never confronted him with that. Like, dude, I know she didn't say those things because I was listening. Because he would have just written back, oh, yes, she did, and you're a liar. And all. Like, at this point, I knew there was no point in trying to argue with him or correct the record on anything.
At this point, it should be rather evident to listeners that we were in the process of finding our own apartment and all done with this whole mess.
Oh, yeah.
But we also had to be cognizant of the fact that we had 2 cats in the house that could be endangered. Mm-hmm. And we had our possessions in the house that could be endangered. And we were trying to minimize any kind of a damage that we could suffer. Because there was previous things that he had said about knowing. Apparently, he's got this. For somebody who claims to not be a bigot, he really does bring up ethnicity an awful lot.
Well,
his Italian friends who are kneecap breakers. You know, I mean, and the other thing that I found really sad about this last email is when he talks about having friends that will do for him. It's because they owe him.
Yeah.
And that's so sad.
Yeah.
I mean, I could pick up the phone right now and call a friend and they'll be here. Or have a friend pick up the phone and call me and I'll be there. It's not about owing.
Yeah, he's always bragging about his rich friends. I bet if we were like super wealthy, he would have made more of an effort to keep us in his life.
He doesn't know what we have or don't have.
Right.
He had no idea where our lives are going or not going.
Right.
He has no idea who our friends are. And I don't run around telling people what my friends make for a living.
No.
It's just not appropriate.
Yeah. Also, too, in this email, I think a record number, I didn't count them, maybe 10 times, he says at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, at the end of the day.
And, of course, more of this, you know, you can call me an asshole and all that. So then, just to kind of finish off this episode with we'll finish off the rest of July 12th, because just a few brief exchanges here. Then he sent me another email, just a short one, that says, what's actually very funny about this, by the way, was that I offered for both of you to be on the lease when I was signing it, and neither of you wanted to. And now both of you think that you have a say in anything? Why? This is not a democracy. If you don't like my rules, then move. Sorry, at the end of the day, that's what it is. Tired of the passive-aggressive game because Jen is pissed that I felt that her son made me feel disrespected. I'm not his daddy. I don't need to put up with feeling disrespected by anyone in my own home. Sorry, but that's the crux of it. I don't let 20-somethings disrespect me at Brothers, and when they try to, I lay right into them, and I won't allow it in my own house. Of course, that's a complete lie there that he offered us both to be on the lease. That conversation never happened.
No, actually, because we point blank said we refused to be on the lease.
Yeah, we told him we didn't want to take over the lease.
And the reason we didn't want to be on
and
the
then
lease
he offered.
is that we didn't want to be locked into having to live with him for a year when we were already aware that wasn't looking like it was going to be a good, healthy place for us to be.
Yeah.
Or a safe place for our animals, for that matter.
Right.
You know, it's just, at that point, it was just...
Yeah, he's completely lying or imagining, however his brain works, when he says that he offered us to be on the lease.
Yeah, and all of his crap about Jesse is absolute BS bullshit.
Yeah. I wrote back, I actually responded at this point. This is probably one of the last times I ever responded to any of his emails. I just said,
Short dick man.
I'm going to address this once because you're not going to believe me anyway, but I at least need to say it. As much as you hate us and think that we are evil, Jen and I have precisely zero intention of trying to fuck you over. Whether you believe it or not, we're actually good and honest people, and besides, our reputations matter to us a great deal. That's all I can say about that. And then he replied, okay, that's all I wanted to hear. And then he replied again and said, by the way, when I said I connect with black people more than white people, I did not make that up. I find black people to be far more honest in situations like these, and I have lived with more black people than white people in the past as well. So call me whatever you like. At the end of the day, I have no control over what you think of me. I just know how I feel. And no offense, at the end of the day, how I feel is far more important to me than how you feel, how Jen feels, or how Jesse feels, or even Angela. I feel disrespected. Then, to me, that's a fact, an inarguable fact. Sorry, but that's the way it is. My own feelings will always trump anyone else's.
And yet again, as this continues, he never addresses the issue that he actually had with me about emailing me repetitively in the hospital.
Yeah.
And that was what I kept repeating to him when I did talk to him and ask him why.
Yeah.
Granted, there's only so much one person can take about hearing about somebody that they love being trash talked or threatening somebody else they love with their business.
Yeah.
You know, there's only so much of that one person can take before you gonna go where you're gonna go.
I should say this too, because I did email him, that short email, and I said, we have no intentions of trying to fuck you over. Now, notice, I worded that very carefully.
I did.
Some might even say there was something Clinton-esque about how I parsed my words.
That's true.
Because I was sincere when I said we had no intentions of trying to fuck him over. Yes, at that point, I will acknowledge we had already made up our minds. We had decided we had to get out of there. There was no way we were going to be able to fix this, and we had to leave. But we also
didn't want to fix it.
What's that?
I didn't want to fix it.
Yeah,
it was
at that
just somebody,
point.
you can't live with somebody that toxic.
Right. But the thing was, we also recognized that we were living with a drunken lunatic with clearly, these emails, no one can hear these emails and tell me that he's not mentally ill. So we didn't feel safe. We didn't feel our cats were safe. We didn't feel our belongings were safe. I actually never thought there was any threat of physical violence of any kind personally, but I was worried about our stuff because we saw the way he treated
Napoleon Bonaparte.
this stuff. And I was, of course, upset about what this was all doing to you and your health, all of this. So we had made the decision we were getting out, but we did not feel safe in telling him that we were leaving. And
it was just open up another can of worms, and there would be more things to be worried about things disappearing, worried about coming home to broken computers, worried about coming home to whatever, because You just
And the harassment would have increased tenfold.
tenfold.
Yeah.
Tenfold.
But
At this point, he's trying to instigate violence. He's making statements about things that were never said, never done, and showing so much psychosis. It is a genuine concern for your own safety.
Absolutely.
And I will admit, I was barricading the door.
Yep.
After that, and the barricading of the door was simply to afford me those extra few seconds that would put me allow me enough time to get into a safer position to defend myself.
Yeah,
I am very well trained in my self-defense skills, and I knew that creating a barrier that would buy me just those extra few seconds would allow me to get into a safer position of defense.
Yeah, we were living with a lunatic, so that's why we had to do things as covertly as possible. So when I wrote him back and I said,
Short dick man.
we have no intentions of trying to fuck you over, that was true. The reason we were doing this as covertly was not to fuck him over.
No,
it was to keep ourselves safe.
By that, before the threats, we were planning on doing a 30-day notice, and we were just starting to look.
Yeah, but then when things really started getting scary, it was like, no, we need to get out quietly while he's at work one night.
And just friggin' do it and get it done.
We had no choice. And I felt badly about it because I don't like being sneaky like that. So I didn't feel good about it, but I also knew that we had no choice and that he had created a hostile living environment where we had no choice but to proceed this way. I didn't like doing it that way.
Nope, I walked through the house with a Kempo stick or a firearm.
I would have much preferred giving notice and done things the right way, but he created a situation where we couldn't do that, which I resented him for on top of everything else because I didn't feel good about being sneaky, but he put us in a position where we had to be sneaky.
There were even times when some of the commentary that was going on was enough that Angela and I would strategically plan going to the restroom.
Yeah.
Because it's right next to his bedroom.
Yeah.
And plan, it basically be a pair of eyes for the other and take turns to protect ourselves. I mean, we were actively doing everything possible that we felt necessary to protect ourselves and our belongings as much as possible.
Yeah.
But that's where we had some good neighbors come in.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that we'll get to that.
We'll get to that, yes. I hope you guys have a great weekend.
Yep, that will conclude this week's episodes of Angry Drunk Tales.
Don't forget to look for it on Facebook and like the
Angry Drunk Tales
Facebook page.
Yep, and there's plenty more to come in the coming weeks, believe me. The emails just get more and more intense and interesting as our story continues to unfold.
And we haven't even approached the period of time when we got 10 emails in one day.
Oh, yeah. Wait till you get to hear the emails after we had moved out. That's when things really get intense.
Oh, it gets to be more fun then.
That's sort of,
absolutely.
That'll be sort of chapter 3.
But you know what, folks? I'll tell you what. Angela's living in a wonderful place.
Yep.
She still has 2 jobs, even though she got another different job. This woman does not stop working. She cannot have just one job. She has 2 to 3 jobs at all times.
Yeah.
We are happily living in a beautiful, beautiful apartment that's got lots of sun, and we hear children laughing. And the ice cream man, I haven't seen the ice cream man in years. And you know what? The lease is in our names. The bills are in our names. And why is that? Because we felt very comfortable doing that here.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll conclude this week. Have a great weekend, everybody. And remember, if you have a drunken lunatic for a roommate.
Lying, crazy, threatening roommate.
Yes. Do you feel safe?
Buy a Glock.
Good night.
Night.
short dick man. Don't want no short dick man. Don't want no short dick man. Don't want no short dick man. What in the world is that fucking thing? Do you need some fucking tweezers to put that little thing away? That has got to be the smallest dick I have ever seen in my whole life. Get the fuck out of here. Teeny weeny, teeny weeny, shriveled little short dick man. Isn't that cute? An extra belly button. The smallest dick I have ever seen in my whole life. Get the fuck out of here. Here we go again.
IPMNation.com.